touring car springs, you might have loads of springs which you know what they are, or you might have a load of springs that you've forgotten what they are, the markings might have worn off. Also, some manufacturers quote their spring pressures in different ways, and quite honestly, some of the figures that they quote are what seem to be way out. Also, some may just be color coded with just markings on them in green or some other color, and they might just be marked as hard, soft, or medium, anything. But you can test them with an accurate spring tester. Now, this one was originally marketed by Intergy and also rebadged as a ZIP, XIPP. It's very accurate, but only if you set it correctly. Now, I'm going to do some measurements on some springs. But first of all, you set up your spring holder. This can be used on buggies and touring cars. You got to make sure that the this is freely moving and nice and straight, and that the spring holder is the right size, so that the spring doesn't twist or not sit properly when you're going to do the pressure. Also, the spring pressure will be measured in grams force per centimetre. In our case, we're looking to compare. And on this end here, you have 1 centimetre between the face of this and the start of this black mark. So there is the mark. And when you put the spring in, I'll show you, you've got to make sure that when you test the pressure, you just push it in by 1 centimetre exactly. If it's more or less, the spring pressure is just going to be measured incorrectly. So that is a bit, you have to be very careful that you do that properly, because the springs will vary in length. Even though you think they might be the same for long, and then there's short ones as well, they are actually, by different manufacturers, different lengths. Now, this is how you do it. Now, this is an HPI original silver spring, and it fits on the collar nicely, and put the shaft in just on the shock like that, and then you find the point where it's just at rest, just no slack. Now on this end here, if you can see in the right place, it's got to be just, the mark has just got to be at the start of the 1 centimetre when the thing's at rest position. So if it's not, you wind the collar in and out till you get it just at the rest position there. Then you can turn it on, and it should say 0 near enough. Let me just zoom it in a little bit for you. Okay, 0. And then what you do, you can measure it at half a centimetre or the full centimetre. So you push this in like this, and it pushes the spring, compresses it. Then you can lock it into position there. Make sure that this is straight and not twisted at all or binding, and you get the reading. 2564 is actually, you will see written on the piece of paper you get as either 2.6, 2.7 or 0.26 or something. Anyway, that's the we're looking for. Now these should be a 2.6. So we just do it again. It's just under 2.6 according to the reading. Now, see, it's gone over now. You do get a variation with the twisting and binding, so you do it a few times. So it appears to be exactly 2/6. Now you've got a set of 4 here. Hopefully they will be the same. Some manufacturers are terrible. Anyway, we've done one, we put another one on. Now some manufacturers, I say, are bad. They're not even the same length when they're made. And now this may not always be 0, but it's only a fraction out. That won't matter. Let's press this one in. Let's do it a couple of times. I always find. Now according to this, it's only 2.5 So now looking at this end here, it's not exactly. Let me see if I'm on the 0. If you're going to do this really accurately, you've got to adjust the collar. I mean, these springs are quite old. They might have. You can reset the 0. Let's try again. You see it's gone over now, so that's very high. Well, it's in 2622, so just making sure this is the right length makes a big difference. And if you twist that, any binding, so it is time consuming. I don't know why that's one showing over now. 262, but at least you know. Let's just do another one. That at least you know that they are from a set and not got mixed up. 2/6. So you know they're about 2/6, and you can mark them up and put them in your box. Now I've got some Hara springs here. Now Hara are normally very good. Hara ride more speed, and I think the much more X gear and that all seem to be made by the same factory, because they come with the same little white slip of paper in the same and they look the same sort of packaging. Anyway, these are supposed to be 2/7 according to the. They even give you a little bit of thing you can put on the Haras. So we put that one on, make sure it's seated, and just adjust the 0 mark on this end. Try and get it. It just seems to be a fractionally longer than the other ones. As I say, it's very hard to get this in the right place. Reset the 0, and let's try it. It says it's only a 2/6, so I'm just going to check the 0 mark. It's very difficult to get it in the right place. Let's reset that. Try again. No, according to this meter, that's a 2/6. So let's try this one. 2/6. But one thing it does tell you, that if you jumble your springs up, at least you'll know what they are. At least they're accurate, these ones. So this set of Haras, they said it should be a 2/7, but according to this it's 2/6. But as I said, it's very accurate. So you can mark them up as a set. I've also got a set of Hara Greys here, which was supposed to be lighter. Now I think they're Hara Greys. These are, but this one's got a silver mark on it, and as far as I know, Hara Greys didn't have a silver mark. You can look at the coils, see if they're identical, which they appear to be. So we'll just try one. Now Hara greys are supposed to be lighter than the others. 0 seems to be slightly out again. Just 0 that. Let's try it. Well, it is lighter. It says it's a 2.3. I think the Hara greys are supposed to be 2.5. So it's possible that I'm not quite getting the 0 right. They seem to be a bit shorter. No, but at least you can test them and see what they are. If they're a set. No, it says 2, 3. So once you've done that, you know that they're softer than your other Haras. So at least you know that you've got a soft set. Then next, I'm going to get a spring that I don't know what it is. See, these are near enough to set. Now, let's see, I've got a green mark on this one, and I think it's a Schumacher green. So just to make sure, it's slightly longer than the others, so I'll just adjust the 0 mark. As I say, if you don't get this right, you'll never get the readings to be the same. Seems to be right. Let's 0 it. Let's give it a go. Initially it's showing, looks like it's going to be a 2.7. So, and this is the other green one from the same. It's just got the green mark on it there. So that one was near getting on for 2.7. Let's just check this one. The length seems to be slightly different, but I'm not going to adjust it. Press that in. 2.62. So it seems to be slightly weaker than the other one. So these are supposed to be a matched pair. But I'd say, looking at the 0 mark on this one, it was slightly shorter. So let's put a bit more pressure by screwing that in. 0. Still only 2.6. And this green one, I'll leave it at the same setting initially. Well, that's supposed to be a matched pair, but I don't think they are a matched pair at all. They came from the same packet, so I wouldn't think they were very close. Let's just check some more. Here are some whole set of if you can see them, HPI. No, what are these? Make of these? These are Yokomo. These are Yokomo pinks, and according to the scale, pink is in the middle of the orange is hardest. It goes down to black as the softest. Now these are a set of pinks. So let's find out what Yokomo pinks are. So we just put that. I'm checking the 0 mark there. 0 mark seems good, but I'll 0 this meter. Press it in once. Looks like it's going to be a 2.6. Yeah, so it looks like pinks are going to be 2.6s. Let's do another one, and I'll check the. Let's just get the 0. That's close enough. Yep, 2.6s. So you know you've got 2.6s on the pinks. Now here are some Yokomo blue. It's got a blue mark on there. You see, now this one, the blue mark's well, you just see it, but they do wear off, and you think, oh, are these a pair? They look the same. You can try squeezing them together like this, but I mean, that does give you some indication. But let's just try now. Now, according to this, the blue is softer than the pink we just tried. Now, the pink was, I think, 2.6. Let's just check the 0 mark. Seems to be fractionally different. Zero, the scale. Let's have a go. Yep, a lot softer. Looks like these are 2.4s. So the blues, the pinks are 2.6. The blues look like they're going to be 2.4s. Let's just get that. Yeah, nice matched pair too. So now, if we had some yellows, I could have tested them, but I don't. Okay, one more. Let's have a look at these. Now, these are new Muchmore X gear springs. They've got this sort of bronze or colour. I don't know what colour that is. Sort of a brownish colour. Quite tightly coiled compared to some other ones which are open coil, as you can see. So normally you get a 4 or 5 coil. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coil. Marked on the end. I think these are red, but the colour is between pink and red. That one seems redder than that one. So we need to see what they are. Now the X gear springs are quite expensive, so you'd think they'd be pretty accurate. Just going to set the 0 mark. Well, this seems to be slightly shorter than the others, so I'm setting this 0 mark again. Can you see that? I've got the 0 mark right there. Hopefully, let's just 0 the scale and just press it in. Now, pretty weak. 2.3. Let's just redo that. It's gone up slightly, so 2.3.5. Let's try. Now that one's got like a red mark on it. This one's reddish to pink. Let's hope it's the same. So that was 2.3.5. Let's try this one. Let's just make sure it's zeroed. Okay. 2.3. So it looks like it should be. No, it's quite. 2.3.5. So it looks like it even. Well, I've got a whole set of 4, so there's another 2 there, so it makes 4 together. Let's assume they're this. So they're quite. This set's quite soft. So at least you know. This one's only 22.5, so I'd have to spend some more time with these because they just don't seem very well match those X gear ones, and they're expensive. They're 10 quid a pair. They are. And finally, you might have a coloured spring like this. Oh, that's really, really hard. Let's see if I can find a softer one. Here's a soft yellow spring. I think these are Tamiya. They're quite narrow. 1, 2, 3, 4 coil, and they'd still fit on the collar. Sometimes you get some. If you got big ones, you might have to change this collar because you don't want them to fall off the edge of the collar, which means that you will have to change the probably the ball joint, whatever. Now these are very long. If you can see that. Just trying to see if it's focusing. very long springs. So these are probably a Tamiya because they used to make long springs. So to measure this, I'm going to have to wind it way up until I've got the 1 centimeter mark. Let's zero it, press it in. It's about 2, and we know Tamiya made some very soft springs. So it looks like this is a Tamiya yellow soft. And when you squeeze it, it seems pretty squeezy soft. So oops, it's about 2, so they're pretty accurately matched, aren't they? And so you can keep going. I mean, I've got some lots of other springs here. I've got some white ones. They're probably Tamiya as well. They seem much harder. I mean, Tamiya made loads of white springs without any marks on them, and they made some off-white ones too, like these. So, I mean, I could measure springs. This one is again slightly different length. And so these are quite old springs now. 2-2, so it's another of Tamiya's soft spring pair. Anyway, so the best springs we measured so far, we know the Haras are very accurately matched. We did the HPIs, they were good. And the X gears I had trouble with. And the Yokomo springs were absolutely dead accurate. So my box of springs here. So the Yokomos were dead accurate. Anyway, you can. That's how you measure the springs. You've got. You do get charts without pressures on them, and you do get charts as well. Also on this HPI sticker, it says. It gives you lots of information. Tells you it's a 6 coil and 273. And this was for an HPI blue, which is actually on my car at the moment, so I can't measure it. But I actually measured them as 2.6, and it says that it should be 2.7. So all I can do is compare with this. It should be dead accurate compared to what the manufacturers use, but not necessarily. Anyway, that's one way of measuring your springs. If someone says to me these springs are too hard or too soft, I can always check them on here, or you can use them for comparing your springs or making sure you got a matched set.